Norm and Nancy graciously invited a mutual friend and I into their beautifully quaint home. They appeared to love life and each other as their 5 valued babies, 2 small pooches and 3 large greyhounds, surrounded them, all of whom greeted us with much enthusiasm and many kisses. When the dogs calmed, we all positioned ourselves to hear this valued man's story. Norm is a Russian Jew. While he does not consider himself religious, he directed my attention to the beautiful menorahs displayed on the mantel of his fireplace. He reached behind his shirt to reveal his necklace, a Star of David, a 6-pointed star symbolic of Judaism and Israel. In his hand he held a paper penned with memories, which was evidence of his thoughtful preparation. His personality was strong-minded and unwavering, yet he was vulnerable and transparent as he spoke of the pain of anti-Semitism that
only a Jew can understand.
Nancy is Norm's 3rd wife, and the day following our interview, they would celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary. His first wife was Jewish. Before he married his second wife, he felt his first sting of prejudice, as his German soon-to-be father-in-law said,
"I don't really care if you're a Jew. Just take care of my daughter."
The passive, sarcastic tone of his comment made clear his disapproving, prejudiced thoughts on Norm's heritage. The father of Norm's 2 stepchildren was a bigoted influence. As his wife was making matzo ball soup one day, Norm's 7-year-old stepson insolently said,
"I'm not going to eat this Jew food."
They later moved to a rural community where they were beautifully welcomed. Friendships quickly developed as dinner invitations increased. They returned the kindness and welcomed their neighbors into their home. This particular neighbor lived right next door to them. When he saw the Jewish star from the Torah on Norm's desk, he simply said,
"I didn't know you were Jewish."
That was the last time the neighbor talked to them. Later, as Norm was struggling and going through a difficult divorce, a friend encouraged him to go to a Christian minister who was wonderful and loving. He went to him many times, as well as to a convention requested by the minister. Upon his return, the minister said,
"Are you ready to convert?"
Norm said,
"No, I'm not converting."
The minister's response was,
"Then I can't talk to you anymore."
This was hurtful and disgusting to Norm because he recognized that
He didn't care about me as a human being. He only wanted a conversion.
authentic honor is the heart to value another amid our differences. When Norm and Nancy began to grow close, her brother said,
"You need to find a Christian, not a Jew. Stick to your own kind."
She wouldn't speak to her brother then, and continues to reject him 27 years later. After Norm and Nancy were married, his mother-in-law was in their home when they were not there. She was trying to find a needed household item during a snowstorm and called Nancy's sister to ask about it. Her response was, "What do you expect from that cheap Jew bastard?" You might think, what's the big deal? Maybe you were expecting the horrors of the Holocaust to be a part of his story, and this seems insignificant. We cannot marginalize the effect of hatred, prejudice, bias, and bigotry. These life experiences hold the power to impact a person's entire life. At the time of this writing, Norm is 76 years old. He communicated,
"I'm just cautious, careful."
He has learned to keep his ethnicity a secret in order to protect himself and Nancy from anti-Semitic hostility, discrimination, and prejudice. He began to share current events of anti-Semitism. He said,
"All you have to do is go back to 1938 and go over to Germany to find out what it was really like. Almost all the Germans became anti-Semitic, and all the Poles became anti-Semitic. They killed my people."
He said,
"I'm not going to walk outside with the Jewish star and say, 'Here I am.' I'm living in a neighborhood where I am the only Jew.